He had one bus ticket and no idea where life would take him. But fate had other plans. He gave away his only way home. He walked for hours that night, not knowing he had just changed his life. Time had moved on, but fate never forgot. The woman he once helped now held the power to change his life. And she did. One bus ticket, one step of kindness, and a journey rewritten.
Your story isn't over yet. Share this if it gave you chills.
Sometimes, the words we write in anger are the ones we regret the most. She never intended to send it, but fate had its own way of delivering truths. Days passed, and silence became her loudest fear. Until one evening, a voice from the past broke through the quiet. It wasn't anger he saw in her words, it was pain he had long ignored. The letter she feared would end everything became the start of forgiveness. Some words hurt, some heal, and some build bridges we thought were burned. Never underestimate the power of honesty, even when it trembles.
If this touched your heart, Cassie.
Leaning the attic, Daniel found an old shoebox covered in dust. Inside was a photograph of a woman he had never seen. On the back, in delicate handwriting, "For Daniel, when you are ready." He asked his mother, but she only wept, saying she was the sister you never met. She had died at 18, before Daniel was born, yet she had written letters, knowing a brother would come one day. Daniel visited her grave, placing the photo back where it belonged. For the first time, he felt the presence of a sister he had never met, yet who had been waiting all along. Some bonds are not broken by time or death. They wait until we are ready to discover them.
Your story isn't over yet. Share this if it gave you chills.
For Chef Daniel, food wasn't just a passion, it was his entire identity. One slip and his world went flat. He had lost his sense of taste, the very thing his life depended on gone. Days turned into weeks. Every flavorless meal tasted like defeat. Days turned into weeks. Every flavorless meal tasted like defeat. Days turned into weeks. Every flavorless meal tasted like defeat. She told him his food tasted like hugs. He had lost taste, but found flavor in kindness.
For 10 years, she kept writing but never sent the words her heart carried. Every street looked the same, yet none felt like home since the day they stopped speaking. She thought her heart had prepared for this moment, but her legs felt heavy. Again, she chose silence over risking a fragile heart. But unspoken words grow heavier with each passing day. It was just paper and ink, yet it felt like lifting a mountain. On the other side, someone had been waiting just as long. Sometimes one small step is all it takes to bridge a decade.
Your story isn't over yet. Share this if it gave you chills.
For decades, his music had filled grand halls, until life left him on this forgotten corner. The violin was broken, but his spirit was not. No one noticed the man in the rain, not at first. But one pair of eyes saw more than a street performer. She saw a storyteller. Each note told of love, loss, and hope, and the crowd began to listen. Even broken, he finished his song. Sometimes the smallest audience gives the greatest ovation. He may never play in grand halls again, but that night, his music found a home.
Your story isn't over yet. Share this if it gave you chills.
In the noise of unpaid bills and daily struggles, a single envelope had waited for years. She had no idea the words inside would turn her past upside down. It was a confession and a plea for forgiveness from the woman she thought was dead. Every name she found, every address she dialed, brought her closer to the truth. Hope began to slip through her fingers, just as it always had. But fate has a way of calling when you least expect it. A lifetime of questions met with a single tearful embrace. And in that moment, they rewrote the story of their lives.
Your story isn't over yet. Share this if it gave you chills.
He hadn't opened this drawer in years. She was the love he left behind, and the apology he never made. In her arms, the world had been simple. But pride built walls, and silence filled the years. She had left the world, without his sorry ever reaching her. Some words never reach the ears they're meant for, but maybe they still reach the heart.
Your story isn't over yet. Share this if it gave you chills.
He hadn't opened this drawer in years. She was the love he left behind, and the apology he never made. In her arms, the world had been simple. But pride built walls, and silence filled the years. She had left the world, without his sorry ever reaching her. Some words never reach the ears they're meant for, but maybe they still reach the heart.
Your story isn't over yet. Share this if it gave you chills.